Good evening, gamers, and welcome back to our latest short take. This is kind of our mini uh, in the moment news reaction show where Brent, you and I hop in here and we kind of get right in the heat of the moment with some of the happenings that are going on in the game industry. Talk about them here, kind of get our feelings and opinions out there, and hopefully hear from you guys as well. So I'm Ben on the other end of the microphone. That's Brent. You know who we are. We're here on behalf of Short Pause, of course. If you like what we do here on the channel, make sure you subscribe. Hit the little bell so you always know when we go live, so you never miss when we put new content out there. Love having you guys in the chat with us when we're doing these live shows, of course. Definitely leave a comment down there if you're watching the show on demand. You know, we love to read that stuff as well. So don't be afraid to share your thoughts with us. Brent, we got an interesting topic to discuss tonight. Before we get to that, though, how you feeling, man?
Hey, man, I'm good. Had a busy weekend. Work sucked today, but hey, work always sucks, so it is what it is. But just
Gotcha.
happy to come home and sit down and talk some video games with you, dude.
Yeah, definitely. So the topic at hand today is Diablo. So that's kind of the heat of the moment item in the industry right now. So there's a couple different sides to this, Brent. So we're coming on today after a story came out earlier on Kotaku regarding a supposed video that was put together for the official announcement of Diablo 4. So that's one part of the story that's kind of the catalyst for us getting on and talking about this today. But there's another part to this story as well, and that's what happened over the weekend at BlizzCon. So BlizzCon is Blizzard's big time fan event. You know, Blizzard is a company that has just released a number of games that people are just gaga over. You know, there's this is they're I don't know. They're like the Beatles of game developers. You know, they have StarCraft and Warcraft and Overwatch and Hearthstone and Diablo. Just all of these games that just sell millions and millions upon millions of copies. They're just known for their out of this world quality when it comes to their games. Their fan bases are extremely passionate. So BlizzCon is a big deal for these people. These people that eat, breathe, and sleep Blizzard. BlizzCon's a huge deal. And over the weekend, there was an announcement of a new Diablo game, but it was not the Diablo game that fans were hoping to hear about. So Blizzard announced Diablo Immortal over the weekend. Brent, it's a mobile game. So it's set 20 years. I'm sorry, set during the 20 years between Diablo 2 and Diablo 3. It will tell stories about Tyrell, Deckard Cain, and other familiar franchise characters. It looks exactly like Diablo 3, but it has touch controls. So I'm going to be sourcing a few articles from Kotaku here as I'm reading, different information about this. So we have that there, and so here's kind of the setup prior to this, Brent. So we had the game came out, and then we see the trailer for the game, and I think it's spot on. It looks exactly like Diablo 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah.
it looks to use all of the same assets, just in some type of a mobile setting, and clearly it's going to be a much different experience than the hardcore Diablo fans are used to, because of course it's a mobile game created with touch controls in mind. So now we need to go back a little bit further, even to a blog post a couple weeks ago that Blizzard put out prior to BlizzCon, seemingly kind of tempering expectations, or in some people's mind, they were setting the stage for what
Right.
we were going to see at BlizzCon. So here's the statement from the Blizzard blog a few weeks ago. These are very exciting times. We currently have multiple teams working on different Diablo projects, and we can't wait to tell you all about them when the time is right. We know that many of you are hoping for, and we know what many of you are hoping for, and we can only say that good things come to those who wait, but evil things often take longer. We appreciate your patience, and our teams work tirelessly to create nightmarish experiences worthy of the Lord of Terror. End quote. So that's the initial statement we got from Blizzard a couple weeks prior to BlizzCon. So, I mean, you could take that a few different ways, right, Brent? You know, there's one part of it where it seems like, yeah, maybe they're tempering expectations. They don't want people to get too excited about the new Diablo sequel anytime in the near future. There's another part where it's like, when they say when the time is right, it's what better time than BlizzCon?
BlizzCon, right?
Like, all of your fans, your most passionate, your most hardcore fans, are gathered under one roof to talk about any and everything Blizzard and get excited about the game. So there's like I said, there's multiple facets to this story, Brent. But just initially, I want to get your thoughts on the reveal of Diablo Immortal and what you think about this game coming to mobile.
Well, you and I, we aren't big mobile gamers. This
Mm-hmm.
is, and for them to put this at the final, the big reveal of the show, I think that's questionable.
Mm-hmm.
The reaction from the fans, I understand to a degree. And I'm going to explain why. Like, first of all, I think when you go back to that post that they put out there, when they said multiple projects, if you didn't think any of these were mobile, then that's on you. Obviously, when in this day and age, when they're working on multiple Diablo projects, immediately I'm thinking to myself, Diablo 4 and something mobile. There's something mobile working on. You're not going to work on multiple Diablo projects and not tap into this mobile market. And so, I mean, yes, reading that thing, I would expect a big announcement. And, for them to say, hey, what perfect time, like you mentioned, BlizzCon, you would think Diablo 4 would be the ideal final reveal. But we get Diablo Immortal. And even though you and I aren't big-time mobile gamers or any kind of mobile gamers at all, there's an audience for this game, boys. There is a huge audience. And you and I were talking before the show, as at one point, about a year after release, both Fortnite and PUBG have been downloaded 100 million times on mobile.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Blizzard's looking at. And when you look at BlizzCon, the audience there, dude, is predominantly PC gamers with some console gamers in there as well. Okay, that's what they do. That's where they play. These aren't mobile gamers. These people have been going to BlizzCon for a long time, well before mobile gaming was a big thing. And they are PC players and console players. So the reaction that you saw in the audience and heard from the people, I understand that, and I can understand that's why it happened. But there is a bigger audience out there, dude, that is thrilled that Diablo Immortal is coming to mobile. I was telling you before this, there's a couple people at work. They are mobile gamers. They play on their phones all the time. They love it, but they don't talk about it. And they sure as hell aren't following BlizzCon and all these things, but they have everything they need right there on their phones. It's part of that ecosystem with having a cell phone. You have everything there for you. It's and you can go into the store and download stuff. You can download the new hotness like Fortnite or PUBG and soon to be Diablo Immortal. That's why they made this announcement. And yes, like I said, the people in the audience weren't happy about it, but there is an audience out there, dude, a huge audience that is thrilled about this announcement.
Now, let me see if I can put this in the words where this makes sense. Definitely, there's an enormous audience in mobile gaming. It's unquestioned. Everybody has a portable gaming system in their pocket nowadays, right?
Yeah.
So there's millions, if not billions, of people that have access to mobile gaming. So, with Diablo Immortal, I might even argue that I don't know that there's necessarily a mobile audience that's clamoring for Diablo Immortal, but there's so many millions of people that have phones and enjoy mobile gaming, and billions of people even that have access to these games that they don't even necessarily need a Diablo fan base built into the mobile crowd. All you have to simply do is put out a game, probably in some type of a free to play capacity. If I had to guess, it's going to come out, and there's just going to be billions out of those billions of people. You're bound to find millions that'll be willing to download your game, give it a try, especially when it's plastered on the front page of the App Store or on the Google Play Store, whatever the case may be. It's going to be sitting front and center there right when it comes out. People are going to be like, "Oh, Diablo, I've heard of that. Let me download this and see what it's all about." They're going to download it and they're going to play it, and then there's going to be hundreds of millions of download for this game as well. So I don't even know if it's a built-in audience so much as there's just so many people that have access to this,
right,
that they can just tap into,
No, I agree with you 100%. And you just look at that audience and you look at all the people that want to play that game. And like I said, we aren't mobile players, but there are some people too. When they pick up a phone and there's touch controls, they're right at home. That's how they want to play. And if Diablo Immortal has that same addictive DNA in its game design, where you're just constantly grinding for loot and playing with other people and taking down huge demons and exploring a massive world, if they have that that's all there, it's over, dude. People who love mobile gaming, who are used to those controls, they're gonna be happy as hell because it's gonna be a Diablo experience. And like you said, you don't even have to have a Diablo fan base on mobile. There's just billions of people on phones who are gonna download this game if they see it and they're like, hey, I want to check out Diablo, and Blizzard's gonna make their money that way.
Yeah, so here's the next part of the story, and it's the reaction to the announcement of Diablo Immortal. So, Kotaku has a very in-depth write-up on kind of the what's going on with Diablo Immortal and the reaction over the weekend. So, in an article titled "Blizzard says it wasn't expecting fans to be this angry about Diablo Immortal," it reads as follows. So during a BlizzCon Q&A shortly after the announcement of mobile game Diablo Immortal, a fan in a red shirt approached the mic and said the following. Just was wondering, he said in a deadpan tone, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke? This is a guy who walks up to the mic, just asks this dead to rights to the developers as they're announcing this game at BlizzCon. The audience cheered. It was just the beginning of a very long weekend for Blizzard. The company was expecting fans to react passionately, one of its co-founders told Kotaku in an interview, but it wasn't prepared for the level of vitriol that ensued. So during this onstage Q&A, a developer on the stage let the fan down gently. No, he replied to the facetiously phrased question. It's a fully fledged Diablo experience on mobile, which everybody will get to play, and hopefully, which will bring new heroes to Sanctuary, as well as welcoming our community back into it, and something we're very excited about. Backlash to Diablo Immortal, however, has continued to rage across social media, YouTube, Reddit, and other sites since then. It stems for the most part from a pre-BlizzCon Blizzard blog post that was meant to temper fans' expectations and clarify that there are multiple Diablo projects in the works, but which did say, like we mentioned, we do intend to share some Diablo-related news with you at the show. So, on one token, Brent, they're trying to set expectations. On another side of it, they're like, we're going to show you something there, Diablo related. So there's a little bit of hope there that they're going to see some type of a tease for the next Diablo, the next proper Diablo in terms of PC and console gamers. The blog post got many fans' hopes up for even a low-level loot drop of information about Diablo 4. Failing that, they were at least holding out for a remaster of a classic Diablo game. Instead, they got a mobile game that's being developed in collaboration with Chinese company NetEase. Some fans have taken this as a sign that Blizzard has forsaken PC and console in favor of greener mobile pastures, and thus they've forsaken the fans that they built their foundation on. Now that's complete garbage. Anybody that thinks that is off their rocker. So, but there are some people that think that, which is absolutely crazy. So let me get your reaction to this, Brent. So there's been a lot of talk in the industry right now about this fan who came up to the mic and about entitled gamers and this and that. What's your take on the way the hardcore Blizzard, the hardcore Diablo fans have reacted to this game? Are the fans out of line? Is Blizzard handling this the right way? What do you think about the way this is all played out so far?
I think it's like a hodgepodge of things. First and foremost, they made a mistake. Obviously, like I said, you and I already discussed that this thing is going to be big on mobile. It's going to find an audience. However, and it's going to come back to the whole BlizzCon thing. This is a convention, a show that is built around, that's been supported by PC gamers and console gamers for many, many years. Okay, this is their bread and butter. This is where they all come together to talk about all things Blizzard. And with that post that went out a couple weeks back talking about, hey, we got some things we're working on. I just don't think this was the right venue to announce their big announcement is a mobile version. That's not the audience that's at this event. That's not the audience that's going to come to the microphone. You're not going to have mobile players coming to the microphone going, when can I play this? Those aren't the people who are at this convention. This is PC and stuff. So that was a mistake for them to announce that there. I think it was just a bad move to announce that there, even though I'm sure the game will be fine. I'm sure it'll hit its audience. But, in terms of like entitled gamers, I understand the passion for Diablo. I don't I haven't played Diablo 1 through 2 and 3. I played a little bit of 3. I'm enjoying 3 on the Switch. It really is a great game. I do like the core of the game. I think it's a lot of fun. It's very addictive, and I can understand why those who have spent a lot of time, like Taz, for example. Taz has spent a ridiculous amount of time with Diablo 3. He knows all about Diablo 3 and how fun it is. So, but for anyone to think that Diablo 4 isn't coming is silly. The post itself said there are multiple Diablo projects. I just feel like this got blown way out of proportion. I feel like people are taking it a little too serious. Yes, it was a mistake. They shouldn't have announced a mobile game at BlizzCon. Not like that. Not like the way they did. They could have announced it, but in a smaller scale. But, I understand why people are pissed, but I do think it's getting a little extreme. I think, you got people saying, oh, they lost their fan base. No, they didn't. Okay, yeah. No, they didn't. I understand why they're upset. I really do. But I think, again, this just comes back to overreaction. Gamers are a passionate group. Okay, they're very passionate. Some handle things better than others.
Yeah, no, definitely. And clearly were there some people out of line with their comments and the way that they're throwing temper tantrums about this. Like, clearly it's just like, dude, get a hold of yourself, get a grip. This is not the end of the world. This is not you're not getting Diablo 4. That's one of the things that's a little bit confusing to me is the people that act like they've been just forsaken by Blizzard.
Right.
It's like, come on, dude. They're making Diablo 4. They're putting out a mobile game to bridge the gap between Diablo 3 and Diablo 4. This in no way affects Diablo 4, at least as far as we can tell. I don't feel like they're sapping resources away from Diablo 4 to make the mobile game. And I feel like they have a separate team dedicated to that. So I don't know, if it's not your thing, that's cool. Don't play it. Mobile gaming's not my thing either. And that's the big thing that was a big issue with the way this announcement was handled. Brent, you get it right on that. The fact that this was unveiled at BlizzCon. We're talking about the hardest of the hardcore Blizzard fans who are at this event to celebrate everything they love about this company, whether it's Overwatch, or whether it's Diablo, or whatever the case may be. And the only game they've really ever made for mobile is Hearthstone, which makes sense in a mobile setting. Other than that, these people are hardcore PC and console gamers. Diablo 3 is a hardcore video game, Brent. The people that play this game and are still playing this game, they're hardcore into the loot grind and into the dungeons and into doing all of the challenging stuff that this game has to offer in its end game. So this is not the crowd that wants to hear about Diablo Immortal. You're coming to them. It's Imagine we're sitting at Guardian Con and we're watching the Bungie keynote and we're excited about what they're going to show us, and everything builds up to this final reveal, and it's a mobile touch shooter, a version of Destiny for all of us to play. Clearly, there's going to be some letdown. Clearly, there's going to be some people upset about that. Clearly, there's going to be some people like, what is the point of this? Like, what is even happening?
Right.
Like, why is this a thing? So I understand the fans' reaction to this. This is not a mobile gaming crowd, like you said. These are hardcore PC and console gamers ready to see the next part of their favorite franchise they've been waiting for 5, 6, 7 years now. I don't know how long it's been since Diablo 3 has been out, but it's been a while, and people have been waiting with bated breath. And that's one of the things about Blizzard, right? They take their time with their games.
Yep.
So every time something releases, it is a big event. A big time event when anything releases with the Blizzard name on it. So like I get all that. At the same token, I do think that some people probably could have handled themselves a little better, and some people need to get a grip and realize that Diablo 4 is still coming, Brent. It's not off the table here.
Nope, you're right. I think you're right 100%. It's just gamers being gamers, dude.
Yeah. So a very interesting reaction here. There's another aspect of this too that I want to get your thoughts on. So from this same Kotaku article, there's an interesting passage here. And it reads as follows. That's not to say that Diablo fans' fears are entirely misplaced. The world of mobile gaming is distressingly underregulated and rife with exploitative business practices that prey on very real issues like gambling addiction. Blizzard, meanwhile, is a giant corporation that has implemented systems in its games that are at heart exploitative, even if its approach has generally been more innocuous than others. So, we can point to any number of loot boxes or, like Overwatch, for example. As
Right.
a result, people are worried that Blizzard will end up embracing the dark side of microtransactions with its mobile gaming about the Dark Lord. On that front, Adam Adham, this is one of the Blizzard representatives they're speaking to here, wasn't able to offer any concrete reassurances. He instead pointed to Blizzard's track record. Quote, if you think about Blizzard over the last 3 decades, we've made lots of different games using different models, box products that we sell, digital downloads, World of Warcraft subscription. World of Warcraft is subscription based. Hearthstone and Overwatch have loot boxes and loot packs, he said. Heroes of the Storm is another free to play game. So I hope our community can see that over that time, there are a few central themes that drive us at Blizzard, and they are always make an amazing game and deliver overwhelming value ethically to our players. That drives the way we think about this. Whether it's free to play or premium, that remains our North Star.
Mm-hmm.
So let me get your thoughts on this, Brent. So I think if we read between the lines here, I think we can assume that Diablo Immortal is going to be some type of a free to play game, and it's going to include some type of microtransaction system in order to monetarily support the game. What's your thoughts on that? And do people is that really, do you think, at the heart of why people are not super excited about Diablo Immortal, or some of these hardcore fans are not super excited about it? Do they worry about a Diablo game that they've come to know and love over the last 15, 20 years, whatever the case may be with the franchise, of a game that is loot based and doesn't have microtransactions thrown in their face? So is that at the heart of what people are worried about here, that their favorite loot based game could become subject to and become a loot based microtransaction experience?
Look, man, when it comes to mobile gaming, there's a lot of games that have microtransactions in there that help. What is it? They create the allure of not having to grind as much. And if there's a game that requires a lot of grind, it's Diablo. And I think, yeah, there's probably a definite fear in that, because if you look at a lot of those games like Clash of Clans or games of that ilk, there's a grind in it, and there's always that temptation of, hey, if you buy these couple things, you'll rank up a little bit faster, you'll earn this item quicker, and you'll have it right away. And I mean, when it comes to a loot grinder like Diablo, when you're playing it on PC and console, you don't have that. You're like, okay, I got to grind away. And then say if you hop on mobile and you're playing it, like, oh, my buddy has that, but I don't have it, and I know it's going to take me forever to get it. Now you're constantly in that battle, which we talk about the gambling portion of things, where you're constantly, do I spend money or don't I spend money? And I think that's the thing that people are afraid of, and rightfully so, because, look, that's where these mobile games make their money. That's why they're free to play, because they're going to get your money another way. They're going to create that grind that's a little bit tougher than what you expect from a game, but they're going to have all sorts of avenues for you to spend money to kind of make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, so I agree. I think it is a legitimate concern, and it's one of the issues I've always had with mobile gaming myself personally. A lot of some of the issues we have in gaming right now, I think you can stem them back directly to what's happened with mobile gaming. Things like obnoxious microtransactions. Like, this is something that really has its heart in the mobile gaming sector. Things like stores that are overwrought with games and uncurated. Like, this is a byproduct of what's happening with the app stores and these games. The devaluing of games, like the free-to-play games and the dollar games that have made it difficult for people to get behind higher-priced games. And the list goes on. There's a lot of problems in the industry that I think can stem back to ultimately what's happened with mobile gaming over the years. So I get that people are concerned about some of that stuff coming into Diablo. And Brent, you can just use your imagination on this one, but think of all the possibilities for microtransactions and annoying, obnoxious things they could do with a free-to-play Diablo game, and it's enough to send any hardcore Diablo fan into like panic mode and be like, oh my gosh, what are they going to do with this game? So it remains to be seen what this thing is going to look like when it actually comes out. But I think there are some legitimate concerns here with the mobile model.
Yeah, and the thing is, though, I mean, if you look at it from this perspective, dude, the PC console players who are waiting for Diablo 4 aren't going to jump to Diablo Immortal. They're not going to go into. They'll download it for free, and once they realize the microtransactions are there, they're going to wait for Diablo 4. So they're not going to be impacted by this. But the thing is, dude, with mobile gaming on that side of the fence, everyone is already accustomed to these types of business practices. This is the norm for mobile gamers. And you know why it's the norm? Because they pay for it. That's why you keep seeing it getting implemented. Everyone supports that model now on mobile gaming. Yes, console players and PC players, they're the most vocal about it because that's not something every time something happens with that, like Battlefront 2, the community comes in hitting hard and changes have to be made. Mobile gamers don't give a shit. They really don't, dude, because that's why it keeps getting implemented in all these games. They don't care. They're going to keep paying it. Mobile gamers are a completely different beast compared to old school PC and console players. They're just a different mindset, dude. It's the accessibility on mobile gaming. You're getting the game for free. They're gonna pay. They're gonna pay everything. They'll pay as much as they want. There are people that spend thousands of dollars in microtransactions on mobile gaming and they don't even think twice. That's a completely different beast. Mobile gamers are completely different than PC console players. Completely different.
And that's what's scary. You know, the fact that there are people out there that support this model, and it does make me worry. I don't want to take this off on a completely different tangent because this is another conversation for another day. But it does make you worry about what the future of the industry could look like, what the future of gaming could look like, which is why I appreciate that in the PC space, that the hardcore gamers, they continue to support the consoles that come out there. They continue to actively participate in letting these developers and letting these publishers know what they want their games to look like. Like they've made a very real impact on things like Middle-earth: Shadow of War, on Battlefront 2, on Battlefield, and these games, just changing the way that these developers and publishers bring these games out to this audience. So and you're right. Like the hardcore gamers, like the people that game just at any and every minute they can, like they don't like this kind of stuff. But your average casual like phone gamer, like they don't think twice about it. They just think that that's the way it is, and don't think too much about it. So I think at the end of the day, what it comes down to is Diablo Immortal is for a different crowd. It's not for the hardcore Blizzard fan. It's not for the hardcore gamers. They might try and market it to that crowd and see who they can pull in, because obviously Diablo is a very hardcore franchise. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's not really for them, and I think that's where the disconnect comes with this announcement. Like why, like you said, why is this at BlizzCon? Like this is not a BlizzCon announcement. So not the finale to your keynote speech either. Like that was not the way to do it. And I think they were prepared in some respects for the backlash that this announcement received, but they weren't prepared for the full on onslaught that this created over the weekend, and just the harsh comments left and right coming from their fan base in regards to this game. It's pretty wild. So let's switch gears here for a second and get to the final component of the story, and that's what came out today from Jason Schreier, and this is directly in regards to Diablo 4. So I'm going to read this article, Brent. It's a short article here, but it's titled Blizzard Scrapped Plans for Diablo 4 Video. This is via sources that have spoken to Jason Schreier at Kotaku. It reads as follows. When Blizzard's sold Diablo announcement at this year's BlizzCon turned out to be a game for phones, it set off a firestorm of angry reactions from fans who had hoped for a new Diablo on PC. But what about Diablo 4? This article originally stated that Blizzard had recorded a video planned for BlizzCon in which co-founder Alan Adham talked about a new Diablo game. Although we can confirm that the video was made, Blizzard disputes that it was planned for BlizzCon. First off, this is a quote here from Adham, I believe. First off, we want to mention that we definitely hear our community. We generally don't comment on rumors or speculation, but we can say that we didn't pull any announcements from BlizzCon this year or have plans for other announcements. We do continue to have different teams working on multiple unannounced Diablo projects, and we look forward to announcing when the time is right, end quote. However, two people familiar with Blizzard's plans confirmed that the company had indeed recorded a video in which co-founder Alan Adham spoke to fans about a new Diablo project. What's in dispute here is the timing. We had originally reported that it was planned for BlizzCon, but it's possible that those plans were simply discussed and never solidified. Either way, the video never came out. We can confirm that Diablo 4 is indeed in development. One of those sources told me that the Diablo team wasn't yet ready to commit to an announcement, as Diablo 4 has changed drastically over the past 4 years and may continue to change further. We've heard it's gone through at least 2 different iterations under different directors. We apologize for any misinformation and have updated the story accordingly. At last Friday's keynote, Blizzard revealed Diablo Immortal to a quiet, uncomfortable crowd and then ended the show. For most of the weekend, Diablo fans raged online as a result, expressing their anger on YouTube and various forums. There were a few reasons for the controversy, but the driving factor was that the company's sole Diablo announcement was a game that appeared to be made for a very different audience than hardcore Diablo fans, as we have talked about, Brent. So this is kind of where we stand right now. So this whirlwind of the last like 72 hours, we've got BlizzCon, the announcement of Diablo Immortal, the outpouring of negativity and the reaction from the hardcore fan base, to the point now where apparently at some point Blizzard had created a video to announce Diablo 4 in some capacity and have scrapped plans to show it, at least in the short term here. So I don't know, Brent, what do you make of all this? What do you make of this scrapped video? What do you make of the I think at the end of the day we can both agree that even if you're not necessarily ready to show the video for Diablo 4 or make a formal announcement of it or show gameplay, whatever the case may be, I think we can both agree that at the end of the day, it was probably a mistake to end the show with just Diablo Immortal. At the very least, like, put up a title screen, put up something that's talking about Diablo 4. Like if you really want to talk about Diablo at BlizzCon to this crowd that's out there, you got to give the fans something, even like a Metroid Prime 4 style teaser, just something to throw up there to kind of take the attention away from the fact that the mobile game was out there. But what do you make of all this, man?
Yeah, that's a strange thing, especially if there was a video made. But like my only concern would be, and we talked about this earlier, is like, how would the fans react if they popped up just a Diablo 4 title card and said like 2020 on it? And yeah, I mean that would fall in line with what we're expecting the next consoles and whatnot. But that's a ways off. And then the fact that this game has been in development, they just said in that article, it's been in development for 4 years. It's changed drastically. It's had 2 different directors, and so what kind of shape is this game even in? So if they just had a video planned for this guy to come out and say, hey, look, we're working on Diablo 4 and it's been in production for 4 years, and all it was going to be was him just saying, hey, look, it's coming. Where is this game at in its development? That's the thing. Like, where how far out? I mean, if they put the title card up and say Diablo 4, if they don't have anything to show after 4 years, and all they were going to do is say, hey, we're working on it. Dude, this could be 2020, late 2020, and then at that point, how far out is too far to announce a game? We've seen this before in the past, bite other companies in the ass. We're like, hey, look, here's our game. See you in 6 years. And it's like, whoa, what's going on? Where's this game at? So, I mean, if this game's been in development, it's changed drastically per this article. I mean, maybe they felt like they wanted to show up, and they're like, maybe they looked at that and they said, hey, look, man, this game is a long ways off. If we put this video out there, if we don't put a date on it, we're setting an expectation that we're going to, or not setting an expectation, but we're going to have people wondering, when's it coming out? Then we're going to have to deal with these questions. And then all of a sudden the production has to get rushed because we announced it. Or do we put it out there and say, hey, look, here's Diablo 4 2020 or fall of 2020 or later. All of a sudden people are going to be like, well, what the hell? Why'd you show it? I just feel like Blizzard was in a real rough spot here. Yes, ending on Immortal was a bad move, but geez, I mean, I don't know how you could have announced Diablo 4 unless you were going to show like a full-on gameplay trailer for a game that's been in development for 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I think, and I don't necessarily disagree with you, but I think that fans are accustomed to Blizzard like taking their time with their games, and there being these really long development cycles, these really long times between games. They wouldn't even really have to show a gameplay trailer. Like, they could have cut a cinematic for the game. A lot of their game announcements, or when they first show trailers for these games, they seem like they're cinematics, right? They don't necessarily dive deep into the gameplay of these games. So even if they would have put together like a preliminary cinematic that kind of hints at maybe the storyline for what Diablo 4 is going to entail, or maybe they
Mm-hmm.
gave us a little taste of what a new class might be that they're putting together, like just something like that. Simply putting together a cinematic, even if they slapped up a fall 2020 date on there, I really don't think fans would mind. The game's not even officially announced yet. So if
Mm-hmm.
the 2020 is really not that far away in the grand scheme of things. It's 13, 14 months away from where we sit today, and
Mic problems. I'll just do a little dance. Jacob, what's going on, buddy? Boyce's microphone is taking a dump.
so
Oh, there he is. He's back.
yeah, so I'm back. Microphone is on the fritz here, but yeah, yeah, obviously we're 13, 14 months away from 2020, which is not a big deal from when you announce the game to when it comes out. Even if it comes out in late 2020, we're talking 2 years at the most from when you officially unveil this game. So I really don't think that's too tough of a pill for fans to swallow. Like, I get we've been playing Diablo 3 for a long time now, but
Mm-hmm.
just putting it out there that it's in development, I wouldn't even necessarily put a date on it. I just think they could have put something out there just to appease the fans. Because at the end of the day, it just was not the right move, like we talked about, to end the show on Immortal. So even if it's just something, Brent, even the title card, man, I think that would have at least alleviated some of the issues that we saw over the weekend. Do you buy this idea too, that they put together this video with the intent of not showing it at BlizzCon?
No. No. I mean, I figure, dude, this is BlizzCon. You make a
Yeah,
video like this for BlizzCon. You don't make it for, I mean, maybe the Game Awards, but I mean, that's a ways, that's, a month or so
yeah,
off, but that's just, I don't know about that. I mean, the Game Awards actually makes sense. I could see them making that announcement there. The PC has a presence at the Game Awards. It gets a little love there, but I think at this time though, BlizzCon, especially with the way it was kind of weird with the way they ended with Immortal, it would have been more ideal. But yeah,
yeah.
dude, just a whole strange, like, it was a whole just cluster, a mess on Blizzard's behalf. What's up, Fear the Beard? Fear the Beard and Jacob are in the chat.
What's up, fellas? Welcome. Yeah, so some interesting stuff going on, Brent. I mean, I think at the end of the day, it comes down to this. Look, Diablo Immortal is a thing. It's going to be on mobile. If you don't like it, cool. Don't play it.
Mm-hmm.
There is a Diablo 4 proper in development.
Yep.
Like, if you are a hardcore Diablo fan, you are going to get the next hardcore entry in the series. You just gotta wait a little bit longer, which shouldn't be too much of a problem, because as a Blizzard fan, you're used to waiting for these things.
Right.
You're used to waiting large amounts of time for the next entry in a series that you know and love. So I think at the end of the day, dude, this is really much ado about nothing, right? It's making a big deal about something that's not really a big deal. Like, look, there's a game in development. It's the game that you want. It's just not officially announced yet. It's not ready for prime time. If you'd
Mm-hmm.
like to bridge the gap between the last entry of your favorite series and the latest entry of your favorite series, and you don't mind wasting a few hours here and there on your mobile device, cool. You have Diablo Immortal to thank for that. So I think at the end of the day, this is all going to blow over. It's as much ado about nothing. Diablo 4 will come out. All these fans that are crying foul right now will be the first ones in line buying Diablo 4 when it comes out, or the first ones on their computer downloading it at 12:01, whatever the case may be. Like, everybody's still going to be there. I really don't think this is going to hurt Blizzard when it's all said and done.
Mm-hmm. It's much ado about nothing, but I hope Blizzard learns from this mistake with
Oh yeah,
how
definitely.
to handle BlizzCon, and remember what your audience is at BlizzCon. It's not a
Mhm.
mobile gaming convention. It's not full of mobile gamers that are hoping Diablo's coming to mobile. This is a PC console audience. You need to cater to that audience with your announcements.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely, man. I agree 100%. That's really the biggest part of this. It's strange too. You think Blizzard would understand their audience at this point?
At
I mean,
this
hell,
point, yeah.
I mean, hell, we could have sussed that out. We're not like the biggest Blizzard fans. Like we don't eat, breathe, and sleep Blizzard. But
Right.
with a little bit of common sense, we could have been like, yeah, it's probably not a good idea to make that like your big grand keynote announcement. You've got hundreds of hardcore PC fans sitting out in the crowd there.
Yeah.
This is the master race, dude. You think these guys are gonna take lightly to Diablo Immortal being your big announcement? Come on, man. You
Yeah.
gotta
What did you think was gonna happen? Right.
yeah. So that's gonna do it for us, Brent. That's all we have to say on the matter. So if you have more that you would like to throw out there into the ether, definitely leave some comments in the video. We'd love to hear from you guys. Follow us on Twitter at the Short Pause if you want to keep up with everything that goes on here. If you like what we do here, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell so you always know when we go live. We do these short takes as often as possible when the news permits. So for Brent, I'm Ben. Beard, Jacob, thanks for hanging out with us. Appreciate you guys as always. We'll see you guys next time. We got I'm sure we'll have some streams coming up during the week, so definitely stay tuned. We'll see you guys soon. Have a good night.
See.